Hey everybody, it's Safi and Marco Dish Out on Movies, the only movie review show on YouTube to review movies in terms of food. It's just Marco here today, and I am here for a very short review, which is something that I say a lot nowadays. I thought about new movies to watch, and I really wanted to watch Gran Turismo, because these people gave it a good review, and I thought it actually sounded good. At first, I was like, is this going to be like that Need for Speed movie with Aaron Paul? Is this going to be some stupid, fictional story that isn't very good, and it's just promoting the game? Well, I discovered, no, it's a true story. It's a very, very inspiring true story. No matter what you want to do or what your dream is, your goal is, it's a very, very inspiring story about this guy named Jan, and he was a video gamer, and he played Gran Turismo for thousands of hours. And then there was this marketing guy, and he came up with the idea that you should have players of the video game compete to actually become a race car driver with Nissan. Of course, in the movie they keep on saying Nissan, and I've always said it as Nissan or Nissan. I don't say Nissan like fucking Orlando Bloom. And the company was like, okay, you can do that as long as you find a really good chief engineer to make sure that it goes as smoothly as possible. And he finds this guy, Jack Saltaire, who is a former race car driver, and he's played in the movie by David Harbour, and that just reminds me, I need to go back and watch Stranger Things so that I can review it, and so that then I can be like, hey, look, I saw the show. Leave me alone. I mean, it's got Winona Ryder in it, so it has to be good somehow. And the movie, I gotta say, it was so refreshing. It was so good. It was just everything that I could have asked for in a movie. It didn't have any political agendas. It didn't have any forced diversity. It didn't have any sort of bad writing. Even though it could have been better, it didn't have any bad lines or bad scenes or bad characters that were just stupid and annoying. It was a very, very well-written film, and the action was great. The great thing about this movie is that so far, there have been two movies this year that have stuck out to me in this bad year of movies, and that would be John Wick 4 and Champions. So this movie combines the best elements of both of those films. It has all of the heart and soul that Champions had, and it has all the action that John Wick 4 had. And it doesn't take fucking a million hours to tell the story. So we see, and this is not really, there's not really much spoilers to give away. I guess there are, but, he competes. He's got trouble at home with family members who aren't, they even say in the movie, so they're not supporting him enough, and just the typical stuff that people go through who want to do something that isn't like a quote unquote normal job. And then he gets accepted into this Gran Turismo Academy, and after that he's got to earn his racing license. And then after that, he has to start competing. And really, this movie reminds me a lot of Top Gun 2. In the fact that it was such a surprise. It was such a nice thing that I could be like, yeah, I'd like to watch that movie, Gran Turismo, and then I watch it and it's like, wow, that was a good movie. Contrast that with, like, usually you're like, oh, I'd like to watch Haunted Mansion. Oh, I'd like to watch, what was a bad movie? Ant-Man 3. Oh. And then you watch it and it's like, oh, this was terrible. That happens so often nowadays that it really spoils the enjoyment that movies give. Like, it really spoils, like, the experience of seeing movies. And so I was glad that there was one movie where it's like, yeah, this is a genuinely good movie. It doesn't have the major flaws that John Wick 4 has. Champion, Scream 6, whatever. The other movies that are pretty good this year. Like, it doesn't have those same flaws. The flaws in this movie are, like, minuscule. So yeah, I love this movie. I could watch it again. I could probably. And another thing is, let's talk about its comparison to Ford v Ferrari. I would say that this movie is a better movie overall than Ford v Ferrari, but Ford v Ferrari had one thing that it did better, and that was the racing scenes. One of the flaws of this movie is that in the racing scenes, they kind of cut around a little bit too much. Like, they keep on cutting and cutting and cutting like it's a what was that thing? The Bourne movies? I never even saw them, but I saw clips of those shitty fight scenes where they just cut like a million times in editing. Whereas, like, with Ford v Ferrari, the camera work and the racing scenes, they were a lot more smooth and a lot more like you felt like you were in the car with them. Whereas in this, it's shot a lot more and edited a lot more like conventionally, but still great film. So yeah, but there was another comparison that I thought was really funny. Much like with Ford v Ferrari, in that movie, you had John Bernthal at the beginning, and he's the marketing guy. He comes up with the idea to do this race, to have this competition. I can't even remember what the story was, sorry. I just remember that's a good movie. Like, okay, like, just because I don't remember doesn't mean it's not great. But he's very prominent in the very beginning, John Bernthal, and then he literally just disappears into the background. And I'm not kidding you guys when I say the exact same thing happens. Fucking Orlando Bloom, he starts off the movie, gives a speech. You think that he's going to have a character? No. He disappears into the background. He does kind of play the role that jackass played in Ford v Ferrari a little bit. You know, the guy who was trying to sabotage Christian Bale. He kind of played that role a little bit, and it was very similar in that, like, you had these two main characters, and they were the focus of the movie, just like David Harbour and the guy playing Jan. And he was actually, both of them were really good actors. They gave great performances. I loved the main character in this movie. He was so identifiable. That's another funny thing. Like, oh, wait a second. I thought that my representation meant that I couldn't identify with him because he wasn't like me. You know, I thought that since he's different, I can't relate to him. Isn't that the rules now? Like, I can't relate to people unless they're exactly like me? Fuck that shit. I relate to him because he's a great character and a great person. And the music for this movie is pretty good. There's not really any bad music, if you know, because the music is a little like it's pretty damn good. Like, it was solid, but it wasn't anything that I'm gonna remember. and listen to like on its own as a score. And then so the main two flaws were the racing, editing, cutting too much, and Orlando Bloom not having enough of a character. So I'm trying to remember what else did I. Oh yeah, and the girlfriend. So in this movie, it's funny because I don't think I've seen a character like this since like 2010. Where you have a movie that, it's written so well that they're focusing on the main characters and not focusing all this attention on side characters who, they're not the center of the story. The problem is there's this girl named Audrey, and she's introduced early in the movie as like, I didn't understand that whole dynamic and that relationship. Like, Jan's brother says like she's gonna be at this party, and then he's at a party with her and they flirt and they kiss, and then he leaves her and he's staring at her Instagram photos, and they meet up again later on, and I just didn't understand like how they met and like where exactly, like were they in the same school together at some point? Like it was really unclear to me, and she was really like, she was very bare bones as a character. Like there's one point, and this is not a spoiler, guys, not a spoiler at all. There's one point where she comes all the way to Tokyo, and she's in Britain. She comes all the way to Tokyo, and I swear, if you go that far of a distance for someone to see them race, and then at one point I think she sits for 24 hours in this racetrack viewing area room. If you do all that stuff, you'd have to be really, really into that person. And so, like, that's why I kind of wanted a little bit more of her character, maybe in the beginning or something, because she was a little, like, flat as a character. But it didn't bother me that much because the movie was just so good. I was like, who fucking cares? I mean, this movie just... It was the greatest. Like, I guarantee... I know that this is going to sound funny, and I know that it's going to make some people go, yeah, well, this guy also gave The Flash a good review. And keep in mind, guys, when I gave The Flash a good review, I thought that every minute of every day was the end. And so that's why, my review was influenced by that. And so, like, that's what was going on. Like, The Flash was bad. It was really, really bad. It was so bad, it was everything I knew it was going to be and more. The only thing that I'll say is that, again, I did like Ezra Miller because I know who he is as an actor. Like, it's not surprising that he's going to be like how he is in that movie. If it's surprising to you, then, you need to go watch his other movies and stuff. Like, I don't know why so many people were surprised by that, but it was bad. It was really, really, really bad. It wasn't as bad as certain other movies of the year, but it was bad. I admit it. I was going to do a review of it where I finally said, you know what, that whole period is over, Losartan June is over. But I don't think I will, because I think I'll save that for the end of the year in the top 10 worst movies of the year video. But this movie, I can guarantee you, I'm going to bet you guys, at the end of 2029, I will be putting Gran Turismo in the greatest movies of the 2020s decade. It was that good to me. Because it was such a universal story it was such a classic and like good story all on its own. Like the fact that what's interesting is that there are so many real life stories that like have all these things that you would say that are cliches or things that you expected to happen, but it's like, no, that's what happened in real life. Like it was that unbelievable that, you know, it could make the perfect movie. So I really applaud them for making this. You know, I would love to see more video game movies that have the same quality as this, because, you know, currently, what do you have? Video game movies. Oh, you have Sonic. Yeah, Sonic was pretty good. Sonic 2 was trash. And then Super Mario was like a lame factory product from Ford Cars. Sorry, but it sucked. And, well, it didn't suck. It was just mediocre. It was lame, mediocre factory product for the general audience. You know, those types of movies. But yeah, I can't think of really much else to say about this movie. You know, like, even if I did spoilers, like, there really isn't that much else to say other than it's really, really good. Go watch it, go see it, and forget about watching other movies instead. Like, I was sad that I skipped so many movies this summer because of being sick, but then I thought, like, are they even worth it? Like, is it seriously? Because I turned on Blue Beetle, and like 4 minutes in, I turned it off. You know, I turned off Blue Beetle. Because I was just like, man, I'm not putting up with this crap. I'm not putting up with whatever the fuck this is. This is trash. I'm going to watch Gran Turismo instead. So anyways, so far, this is the best racing movie I've seen. I haven't seen any other racing movies besides Ford v Ferrari, just because, like, I'm not really into racing movies, but maybe I am, and maybe I should go back and watch other ones that might be good as well. From what I can think of, you know, I guess there's that Rush movie. I heard that was pretty good, and I can't really think of any other movies with racing as the main focus right now. There was that great racing moment or racing sequence in the Charlie's Angels movie, which I did watch that this summer, and that was amazing, as usual. I watch that movie like once a year. I watch Tootsie once a year, I watch Fright Night once a year, and I watch Charlie's Angels once a year. And I think I have to give it a food review. So a food that's really universal, I think, is hamburgers. Now, I'm going to give you guys my perfect hamburger. You have a nice beef patty. It's not that fucking Impossible shit from Burger King's bitch ass. It's well seasoned, salt, pepper, that's it. And I emphasize well seasoned because a lot of people don't season burgers correctly. And on top of the burger is 2 slices of American cheese. Yellow cheese. It's fake, and I love it. I just love it to death. And on top of that, raw onion. A slice of raw onion. And on top of that, bacon. Apple smoked bacon. And on top of that, a pickle. A pickle that you put on a hamburger. And on top of that, you take ketchup, you take mustard, and you squeeze them bitches until you just drizzle the burger with sauce. And you know what kind of bun that's on my perfect burger? No bun. Yeah, that's right, no bun. Buns are for losers. Make that into a t-shirt. Ow. Except for hot dogs. Like, I just, ever since I was like in early high school, and I learned that like Arnold Schwarzenegger said to like not eat buns with the burgers, and then you can still eat all the cheeseburgers you want. Ever since then, I've been not eating buns with burgers. Like, I still eat them with brats, with hot dogs, but I do not eat buns with burgers. Except, like, if they're from a fast food place, I do eat them with those. So that's what I would give this movie. I just feel like it's very universal. Like, anyone could watch it and enjoy it, you know. It's very, very relatable. It's very, very motivational, inspiring. And so that's kind of why I gave it, like, my own perfect burger. Because I feel like anyone could watch this movie and make it their own perfect hamburger, you know, like, hopefully. You know, I know that there are some people who they're just going to be like, it was okay. And I know that there are going to be some people who say it's bad, and I don't want to meet those people because that just makes me sad. So I love this movie. I'm glad that I chose to watch it and chose to turn off Blue Beetle. I mean, has anyone watched Blue Beetle? Like, besides, like, the critics who are paid to give it good reviews? Like, has anyone actually seen it? I hope you, had a fun time like you did with The Flash and all the other bad movies from this year. Sorry. So, again, highly recommend this movie. And tomorrow we will be doing Dark Winds. Tuesday we will probably be doing the next Goosebumps Slappy World book, Attack of the Jack. So let's actually, you know, before we end this, you know, I was really rough in not letting Safi say what she wanted to say about Echoes in the Darkness, the incredible, phenomenal TV miniseries. Let's go see what Safi has to say. Trick or treat, give me something good to eat. Uh-oh. Safi?
Don't do it.
What did you think about Echoes in the Darkness?
No, yeah. It was Echoes of Darkness.
In the Darkness. Oh, so you didn't even get the title right. Did you even watch it?
Yes, I did, and I liked it.
What else?
It was weird.
Okay, thanks, Safi. Bye-bye. Bye-bye. She's picking her toenails and taking all the goo out of it, the alien goo. So please like this video, comment, tell me what you thought of Gran Turismo. I am actually thinking about getting the game now because the movie just made me want to play the game. And then please subscribe to our channel to watch more honest movie reviews. And yeah, goodbye everybody. See you soon for Dark Winds Season 2, Episode 5, the second to last episode in the measly, bitch-ass, pathetic 6-episode series. Bye! Season. Bye!